Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. John here as always, joined by the wonderful Angelina. Today we're diving into a topic that, honestly, might sound a little counterintuitive at first, but I promise you it's a game changer. Creating your own pressure.
It really is, John. When you first mentioned it, I think a lot of people's immediate reaction might be, pressure? Why would I want more of that? We spend so much of our lives trying to avoid pressure, right? But what we're talking about here is something fundamentally different and far more empowering.
Exactly. Because let's be real, most of us, if we're honest, tend to wait for external pressure to kick us into gear. Whether it's a work deadline, a doctor's appointment reminding us to get healthy, or a sudden consequence, that's often when we finally take action. We're reacting to life, not directing it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, how many times have I said, I'll start that project tomorrow, or I'll get to the gym after work, and then suddenly it's the night before the deadline, or I have an event coming up, and boom, the panic sets in, and that's when I finally move. It's like we need that last-minute adrenaline rush.
Yeah, and that's the difference between waiting for pressure to be imposed on you versus creating it yourself. Disciplined people, successful people, they don't wait for external forces. They actively set higher standards for themselves, even when no one is watching, and that's the key, isn't it? That internal accountability.
It really is, and it's not about being constantly stressed or anxious. It's about setting up a system, a framework for yourself that keeps you moving forward, consistently. It's about respecting your own time and your goals enough to give them the urgency they deserve, even when there isn't an immediate external threat.
You hit on a great point there, Angelina, respecting your own time and goals. Because when you create your own pressure, what you're essentially doing is setting rules for yourself. You're committing to goals and then holding yourself accountable to those commitments. It removes the excuses, doesn't it?
It completely removes the excuses. Because if you say, I'm going to write for an hour every morning before checking emails, and you stick to that, you've created a rule. The pressure isn't coming from your editor saying, where's that draft? It's coming from your own commitment to your craft and your schedule. And honestly, it feels so much better to be proactive.
It really does. And I think that's where the idea that discipline turns freedom into responsibility comes in. You have the freedom to do whatever you want with your day, but if you're truly disciplined, you choose the responsibility of pursuing your goals, and you build that internal pressure to make sure you do.
That's a powerful way to put it, John. Because a lot of people equate freedom with just doing whatever you feel like in the moment, but that often leads to inaction or drifting. True freedom, I think, comes from the ability to choose your path and then actually walk it, which requires discipline.
Absolutely. And this self-imposed pressure, it actually builds strength. It trains your mind. Think about it like a muscle. If you only ever lift weights when someone else tells you to, or when there's a competition looming, you're not going to get consistently strong. But if you have a regular training schedule you commit to, that's where the real growth happens.
Yeah, and that strength isn't just physical, it's mental, it's emotional. You stop needing constant reminders. You stop waiting for that urgency to strike. You become consistent by choice, and that consistency, over time, is what truly separates those who achieve from those who just wish they did.
It's so true. I've found that when I started implementing this in my own life, it wasn't about adding more stress, it was about redirecting it. Instead of the stress of, oh no, I have to get this done now, it became the productive stress of, I've set this goal and I'm going to meet it. It's a completely different feeling.
It really is. And I think that's why the statement, success doesn't come from comfort, resonates so much with me. We're constantly bombarded with messages about comfort and ease, but real growth, real success, comes from what the topic outlines as controlled stress, challenging yourself daily, raising expectations, demanding progress.
Right, controlled stress. It's not about burning yourself out, it's about stretching yourself, pushing past what feels easy. And the amazing thing is, when you consistently train yourself under this self-imposed pressure, you actually become calmer when real external pressure hits. You've built the mental resilience for it.
That's such a crucial point, John, because it's inevitable that external pressures will arise. Unexpected crises, big deadlines at work, personal challenges. But if you've been training yourself to perform under your own chosen pressure, you're not scrambling. You have a deeper well of resilience and a trained mind to tap into.
Exactly. You've essentially been running drills for life, so when game day comes, you're not caught off guard, you're prepared. And this translates to every area of life, from your career to your health to your relationships. You gain control over the pace of your growth.
And that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? to stop feeling like life is happening to you and start feeling like you're actively steering the ship. You stop reacting to circumstances and start directing them. It's a complete shift in mindset and approach.
So let's talk about the how. Because it sounds great in theory, but how do we actually create this self-imposed pressure? The text gives us some really clear directives. Set deadlines, track progress, raise the bar.
Those three are absolutely foundational. Let's start with setting deadlines. And I'm not talking about vague someday goals, I mean hard deadlines for yourself. If you're writing a book, give yourself a chapter-a-week deadline. If you're building a business, give yourself a launch date for a specific feature, even if no one else knows about it yet.
Yes, make them specific and make them non-negotiable for yourself. Treat them with the same respect you'd give a deadline from your boss or a client. Because ultimately, you're your own most important client when it comes to your personal growth and goals.
Absolutely. And then tracking progress goes hand in hand with that. Because if you set a deadline but then don't regularly check in on where you are, it's easy to drift. Tracking doesn't have to be complicated. A simple spreadsheet, a bullet journal, an app, anything that gives you a visual representation of your movement towards that goal.
I can't stress tracking enough. There's something incredibly powerful about seeing those check marks, those completed tasks, or the numbers moving in the right direction. It provides a huge boost of intrinsic motivation, which is another form of self-imposed pressure. It's like, okay, I did that, I want to keep that streak going.
Exactly. And it also highlights when you're slipping. If you're consistently not hitting your self-imposed metrics, that's feedback. It's not a reason to beat yourself up, but a reason to adjust or reevaluate. It's a gentle form of pressure saying, hey, you said you were going to do this, what's up?
Totally. And then raising the bar. This is where you continuously challenge yourself. Once you hit a goal, don't just stop. What's the next level? How can you do it better, faster, or with more impact? It keeps you from becoming complacent.
Oh, complacency is the enemy of growth, isn't it? If you're comfortable, you're probably not growing. Raising the bar might mean increasing your daily word count, taking on a more challenging fitness goal, or learning a new skill that pushes you outside your comfort zone. It's a continuous, gentle stretch.
It's about maintaining that controlled stress we talked about earlier, never letting yourself get too cozy, because that's when stagnation sets in. I remember reading once that a ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. Our lives are the same way. We're built for challenging voyages, not safe harbors.
That's a beautiful analogy, John, and it really ties into the core message. When pressure comes from within, when you are the source of that drive and determination, no one can take it away from you. It's not dependent on your boss's mood or the economy or what someone else thinks.
Exactly. Your success becomes a product of your discipline, not circumstance. And that's incredibly liberating, wouldn't you say? Knowing that you're in the driver's seat, that your progress isn't dictated by external factors, but by your own commitment to yourself.
Oh, it's profoundly liberating. It takes away that feeling of being a victim of circumstance and puts the power squarely back in your hands. It fosters a deep sense of self-reliance and confidence, knowing that you can set a goal and then build the internal systems, the internal pressure to actually achieve it.
So for anyone listening, if you feel like you're constantly reacting, constantly waiting for that last-minute push, I really challenge you to start small. Pick one area of your life. Maybe it's a fitness goal, a learning goal, or a creative project, and intentionally start creating your own pressure.
Just one thing. Set a deadline for yourself that no one else knows about. Track your progress for a week. And then, at the end of that week, ask yourself, how can I raise the bar just a little bit for next week? You'll be amazed at how quickly this builds momentum and changes your entire approach.
Yeah, start small, but start. Because the comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. It's when you gently but consistently apply that self-imposed pressure that you really start to see transformation.
Absolutely. It's about consciously choosing growth, choosing responsibility, and ultimately, choosing a more directed and fulfilling life. So go out there, create that pressure, and watch yourself thrive.
That's a perfect note to end on, Angelina. Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your insights. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope this episode inspires you to take charge and create your own pressure for incredible success. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, everyone. Take care and go create something amazing.